Hey, in this episode, I want to talk to you about the mindset of a millionaire musician and what it takes to develop that and overcome some false beliefs that you may have. Let's do this.
I spent the last 14 years playing over 1,000 shows, touring 22 different countries, and become a top 40 Billboard charting artist. I fired my record label to go out on my own as an independent artist to market and release my own music, selling thousands of albums and millions of streams. The question I always get is, how did I do it without a label and sell even more music? This podcast is here to show you the way. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my music business and a loyal fan base.
So hey guys, just going for a walk here. It's actually Canada Day as I'm recording this. It's July 1st and it's warm, it's nice. I actually got my hoodie on. And I want to talk to you guys about, overcoming some false beliefs about money. And I am part of this mastermind that I joined. And the guy that sent me my package in my mail, it came with a $20 bill attached to it, which was really wild. And I was like, what the heck? What's this $20? And there was an exercise in there where I had to give it away to somebody. And after I had given it away, I had to tell the person that I had done it. And I was supposed to give it to a stranger, but I gave it to somebody that I knew that I wanted to inspire and share them a story and all this stuff. But the whole point is that he shared a story with me that people that you try to give money to, especially if it's a stranger and you don't have a real reason, they feel like they don't deserve it. And that's the point I really want to drive home first, is a lot of people don't think they deserve to be wealthy. They don't think that they deserve to have riches or to have money. And they have a real problem. And that's because we have had propaganda via TV and cartoons, even as we were kids, that getting rich is evil and the bad guy is always evil, the businessman is always evil, and it's wrong to have wealth. And so we've been led to believe all these things. There's things in our brain that we don't even realize about money that is just wrong, and it's just not true. And so it takes time to break those false beliefs about money and about what's actually possible. And I want to share my journey with you from when I started to make my first money with music to I'm now making, I've probably made millions with my music now over my whole career. And not in like a day or whatever, but over the years, we've definitely done that. But I didn't start there. And that might sound totally crazy, totally, outrageous, but you got to understand there's so many bands at festivals and stuff. They'll do hundreds of thousands of dollars just in merch, let alone what they're paid, okay? So it's totally possible. I think the most we ever did in merch in one weekend was like $30K, okay? And so it's definitely more than possible, and I want you to understand and believe that. But I remember our first show, I think the church that we played at took up an offering. So we made like maybe $20, $30. And then I was just like, wow, I just couldn't even believe that somebody would pay me for my art. And maybe that's where you're at, where you're just starting and you just can't even believe somebody's actually going to pay you to perform music. But you got to understand, your music has a value. All right, you need to understand that your music has value. You might not attach any value to it, but you need to, and other people do, especially if it's impacting their lives. They're gonna pay you for it. They'll pay you for a T-shirt. They'll pay you for, your logo on different merch and stuff like that. And then our next show we did, because we did the first one, because we stepped out and we just performed, somebody asked us to do another show, and they asked us how much do they charge? And we're like, oh, well, we haven't really thought about that. And that's one of the most amazing things that I meet different people in all fields of business that typically aren't doing very well. When I ask them their price, they start to go, oh, they don't know. And so I want to ask you, have you really sat down and said, what do I charge? So that way when people ask you, what it is for your service or whatnot, that you've got your price list, And one of my buddies told me, he said this to me, he said, if you're not embarrassed by the amount you charge, you're not charging enough. And so to increase your prices. And so that's one of the first things you need to make sure that you're doing is increasing your prices, okay? And I understand as a band, as a musician, someone who's getting started anyways, you're like, well, nobody's going to book me for that amount if I say that. Well, how do you know? And this is the thing, if you start at a low amount, what if they just say yes? And you're like, oh, dang, I should have said more. And that happened to me a long time ago when a pharmaceutical company asked me and my DJ to come perform at this like marketing event or something like that, and I think I told them like, yeah, we're 1,500 plus flights or 2,000 plus travel, and they're like, okay. And I thought that was a crazy amount at the time, and I just didn't realize or even think that they had, millions upon millions, if not billions of dollars. I easily could have said 5K or 10K, and I totally could have got it. They would have said yes, no problem. Sure, let's do it. And I would have had like thousands more dollars, but it was because my mentality. Okay, it was my mentality. I didn't know, like, if they were to call a booking agent or something like that, they would have totally slapped them over the head with like 10K or more. And it's just because I didn't know. Okay, there's my mindset. I didn't have the millionaire mindset as a musician. I didn't know what my value was. And this is the thing. Not only did I have to perform, I had to rewrite a song. They wanted me to rewrite Eminem's Lose Yourself and change the lyrics to fit their like drug name or something like that. I think it was called Bipril or something. I can't even remember. But I remember I had to rewrite the song. So even that in itself, that's worth thousands of dollars. If I got to sit down and rewrite this thing and then I got to, perform it for their marketing team. But anyways, this is what I'm talking about. All right. And I remember when I finally started to wake up and go, okay, I'm going to charge $1,000 a show. And guess what? When I started charging that and asking for it, sometimes I'd get it, sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes there'd be pushback. But when people started asking, hey, how much do you charge? It was like, okay, well, it costs $2,000 now. And it was funny. Some people would want to book us the next year. They'd booked us a year before. And then, my mindset got right, and, I had to pay for my band, and, we were just bringing more value as well, too. Of course, it was a better show, bigger show, and we're like, well, no, we're $3,000 now per show. And they're like, well, how come you were this before? Well, it's like, well, look, we're, got a bigger fan base. We got this going on. We got this going on. And so, and knowing our value. And even if I didn't have this stuff going on, it's like, if you want me to leave my house and come perform, this is what it's going to cost you. And I can tell you right now, I ain't leaving my house and performing for less than 10 grand now. I'm just not. I'm just not doing it. Okay? And it's taken me a while to get my mindset to that, where I'm going to come and perform and do my thing, And it's taken years to develop that. But let me just tell you, if you're not even willing to ask for it and step out, you're not going to get it. And who cares if somebody says no at first and you don't get it. And this trickled down not only to my live shows, because I'm talking about live shows. This is also, I've seen it with producers who are charging money for beats and for tracks. Okay, they're only charging $100. And then I know producers finally had the guts to charge $500 and then $1,000. And I can even tell you with some of the like big producers I worked with, I remember when I got a whole album for $10,000, and now it costs like $6,000 to $10,000 just for one song. All right, and these are guys that have continued to grow and know their value, and you need to know your value. And obviously, you have to be able to back it up and whatnot if you're going to charge that. But let's even look at merch. I was coaching a student over the phone, and I was helping her, come up with her prices on merch. And she was doing the same thing I was doing. She was trying to go cheap and stuff and keeping her margins really, really small. And I was like, no, I'm not doing $10, $15 shirts. They're starting at $25. There needs to be margin. Can't be just making $1, $2 off a shirt. And people don't see higher price. They see higher value. They see exclusivity. They see, I need that. Okay, I'll save up the extra $5, $10. And guess what? They'll pay it. They'll drop it. I'll never forget going to like Linkin Park shows or different like big bands, and they're selling shirts for like $40, $45 for a t-shirt. And it's like, I can totally just put that online and do that, and and selling my hoodies for too cheap, and I'm just like losing money. It's like, no, stop cheapening out, and start thinking bigger. It's funny, when you go to a store, and I was just at a store with my wife, now that the malls have started to open up here in Canada, is that they'll say, hey, it's 75% off or 80% off the ticket price, but you don't realize they've increased the ticket price first, and then they're giving you the discount. So they're not actually discounting that, but you understand, we have been taught to buy at discounts. We've been trained to buy things at a discount. All right. And so people do want deals still, but that means if you want to give deals, you got to increase your prices. Okay. And you got to also not train your people to only buy on deals. All right. Because look at Apple. They never discount their stuff. They never discount. They have rabid fans buying it. There's a clothing company I really like a lot called Fear of God, and they got some really dope stuff. Jerry Lorenzo's the designer, and his sweaters are like $400, and different things are like $800, like really expensive stuff. And he rarely ever discounts, but yet he always like sells out and does really, really well. Okay, so it's not always about having a discount, it's about having value. How can you add more value to your product without it costing you more? So I hope this helps you wrap your mind around where things are at. Okay, and if you want more help with this, okay, if you want me to look at your business, you want to ask me more deeper questions, then you need to come to Fanbase University. Okay, there's 2 coaching calls a month. They're on the 12th and 24th of every single month. And I've been more than happy. We're going for over an hour and a half. We're going to be bumping it to 2 hours. I'm providing more value. Well, that's because I'm charging more. And it's going to keep going up. And so if you want to lock in at whatever price it's at right now, lock in, because we're continuing to increase the price because I'm continuing to increase the value, and we're only having like more elite artists that are in there. So if you even want to get around artists that are really crushing it and killing it and on that millionaire mindset musician, then you're going to want to join that. Okay. Hey, I want to remind you that a fighter isn't someone who never fails. Fighter is someone who never quits.
So if you're a struggling artist and you're just trying to figure out this music industry, you want to go full time with your music, you want to get noticed on social media, or learn how to launch an album, an EP, or just get your music more marketed out there, I want to encourage you to check out my coaching program called Fanbase University. Every single month, I jump on the phone 2 times with my students and I coach them and I teach them how to market their music, how to get noticed, how to handle booking agents, record labels, and just get their music out there. Also, you get access to exclusive training, you get interviews with music industry professionals. If you want to find out more and not do this on your own, not struggle, because I've wasted thousands of dollars on my career and now I want to coach other artists. Check out my program, fanbaseuniversity.com, or click the link below to find out more info.